Good morning, Michiana. Blowing and drifting snow causing big problems on the roads this morning. Temperatures going down. It's only getting colder. We may see record cold in your ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Forecast. ABC 57 News continues right now.
Covering South Bend, Elkhart, and all of Michiana. This is ABC 57 News at 6:30.
Blowing and drifting snow will be a big problem as you hit the roads this morning. We have team weather coverage before you head out the door. Plus,
there's just no other place to put it. I mean, it has to go somewhere.
Where are some of the roads? Drivers continue to have problems finding them. Why is just ahead. Good morning, Michiana. Welcome to ABC 57 News. I'm Emily Pritchard. The big story this morning is the weather outside. We have team weather coverage, including ABC 57's Eric Cox. But we start with ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood meteorologist Tom Coombs. Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Emily. It's cold and getting colder out here. We've fallen into the single digits, but the big problem is the wind. At around 20 miles per hour, it's blowing that snow about, creating low visibility, covering roads and drifts 2 to 3 feet in spots. Some places are near impassable this morning. Here's the forecast for the rest of today. The wind speed around 20 miles per hour through noon today, then decreases to around 15. That will improve things a little bit, but temperatures also going down. Single digits to sub-zero by 11 o'clock tonight, -6. We'll be colder than that tomorrow morning. We may see record lows overnight tonight into tomorrow. Cold temperatures may not even warm above 0 tomorrow. Stick around. I'll show you that in your ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Forecast. Emily?
Thanks, Tom. Our team weather coverage continues this morning as we head out to those roads. ABC 57's Eric Cox is live in St. Joseph County. And Eric, what have you been seeing so far?
Emily, good morning. I'm sorry if I could barely hear you right there. A snowplow actually just passed by me. Road crews are out here working really hard right now to combat these bad weather conditions for the morning commuters here coming up in a little bit. It's pretty bad out here right now. I'm actually on State Road 23 just above the St. Joseph Valley Parkway bypass in South Bend where the wind is blowing around like crazy, Emily. It is just picking up the snow and lifting it right in the way of drivers' field of vision, obstructing their view. In fact, it was doing that for me on my way here this morning. I almost got in a crash a couple of times involving other vehicles as well as just sliding off myself. And actually, after speaking with a couple of the local county dispatches, I found out that a lot of the places a lot of the 911 dispatches are just experiencing a flood of calls coming in. In fact, LaGrange County, it's just came into our newsroom that LaGrange County is prohibiting any and all non-emergency vehicles from being out on the roadways at this time. This announcement comes after their 911 dispatch experienced a flood of calls, as I said, people asking for roadside assistance. But what they're also afraid of, Emily, is that other drivers may have actually abandoned their vehicles without notifying them, and that's also an issue because that can be a real hazard for plow crews and even emergency crews that are trying to respond. So they ask that everyone who may have done this to inform them immediately. Now, Cass County in Michigan says they'll be ticketing all non-emergency personnel as well. Now, I actually spoke to a man who was on his way to work this morning, and he seemed to understand just how important safety is on a day like today.
I've seen a lot of people just end up in some really funny places. So, just gotta take my time and get to where I'm going. I might be late, but I'll be there.
Now, Emily, I've also made calls to Elkhart and Berrien County, as well as Kosciuszko County dispatch centers. None of them have closed any roads or issued any state of emergencies just yet. But here in St. Joe County, actually, Bittersweet Road has just been shut down between Douglas and Cleveland. I've also learned that they plan on closing Ash Road between Cleveland and Douglas in about 15 minutes or so as well. So it's definitely a day to remain cautious and careful as you take to the roads. That is, if it's necessary. Live in South Bend, Eric Cox, ABC 57 News.
And right now, the high winds and drifting snow are creating huge snow piles. We've all seen them. Crews are working to clear as much snow as possible for this morning's commute, but that continuous snowfall is causing problems. Some drivers say their vision of the roads is particularly dangerous since they have to edge out into traffic just to see. However, the South Bend Department of Streets says there's really nowhere for that snow to go.
There's just no other place to put it. I mean, it has to go somewhere, and unfortunately, where it goes is where it goes.
The Department of Streets says dumping that snow into the river just isn't an option because of the debris and litter in the snow. And some counties right now are currently under a travel advisory due to all the snow we've gotten over the weekend. As you can see on this map right here in Indiana, many counties are under some type of advisory. The orange is a watch level, and that means you should stay off the roads. Counties under that watch include LaPorte, St. Joseph, Stark, Kosciuszko, and Pulaski. LaGrange and Marshall, they are now under a warning level, meaning only emergency vehicles should be on the roads. For a closer look at this map, just head to abc57.com. And for those of you traveling in Michigan, you'll also see snow-covered roads as well as ice and blowing snow. Michigan State Police report that I-94, I-69, I-196, US 31 as well as US 12 and US 131 are all seeing those dangerous conditions this morning. Drifting snow and reduced lanes may also be a problem. And an icy road plus uneven pavement, that's causing major issues on Portage Road in South Bend. Police tell us that since last night, there's been over 10 slide-offs just in that one area. Our cameras were rolling all day at the problem site. We saw drivers' tires go into that crevice, try to overcorrect and end up in a ditch or someone's yard. Now, neighbors say the ongoing problem has them upset and worried.
On a scale of 1 to 10, at least a 10. A 9 or 10 because somebody is going to get killed because of the there they go. They're getting ready to go now.
Now, neighbors say they're worried a car will slide off and go right into one of their homes. Several have already had close calls. Neighbors say they've called the county, but there's been no solution so far. And the sub-zero temps we'll see this week will affect the South Shore train. Passengers will be bused from South Bend to Michigan City. Regular service will run between Michigan City and Chicago, but you could see some weather delays. Now, there will also be no bus service from Hudson Lake. And stay with ABC 57 News as we continue to give you the first warning on the weather this week, including snow and those sub-zero temperatures. You can find all of that information on our weather app as well as our interactive radar on abc57.com. Meteorologist Tom Coombs' forecast is just moments away. And this weekend, family and friends, they said goodbye to Technical Sergeant Dale Matthews. The Rolling Prairie native died earlier this month when his helicopter crashed during a training exercise in England. ABC 57 was at that ceremony honoring Matthews. His family said he truly loved his job.
That was his dream, and I rather enjoy flying. So I mean, it's kind of humbling that my dad.
He loved it, every aspect of it. Flying the helicopter, being the crew chief, every aspect of it. He just absolutely loved it.
Sergeant Matthews will be laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery February 5th. The suspect in a deadly South Bend shooting is expected to go to trial today. Anthony Jefferson is accused of shooting Jason Reed and Tyrese Walker on Brookfield Street in September. Now, Reed died from his injuries after a police standoff in South Bend. Jefferson was later found in Rockford, Illinois. He faces several charges, including murder, attempted murder, and robbery. A northern Indiana prosecutor says a grand jury will review the deadly shooting of a man killed by Elkhart police. That grand jury is expected to meet today to review the shooting death of Christopher Reichart of Elkhart. Now, police say he was shot during a chase in November after reversing his truck into the path of officers. 3 officers shot at him. He later died at the scene. Well, in other news, the Notre Dame women's basketball team, they're back on the road tonight, this time in Maryland. The number 2 ranked women are looking to beat the number 6 ranked Maryland for the second time in 3 games. The Irish will face a top 10 opponent on the road. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock and is televised on ESPN2. Well, 6:37, officials in Texas are still searching for a woman who went missing this weekend, when she was last seen, and where that search stands as of this morning. Plus, the Winter Olympics are less than 2 weeks away. What U.S. security officials are planning to make sure you're safe if you travel to the games.
6:37, the deep freeze returning to Michiana. It's -2 in Madison, Wisconsin. Sub-zero temperatures on the way. Your ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Forecast.